You're gonna put me through like that?
Huh?
You're gonna put me through like that?
You're like, this is probably so different than like what Chris does.
Probably, yeah.
But check it out, ready? Grilled shrimp.
Imagine picking up a $400 camera in your dorm room to film shaky gym sets. And a decade later, that same decision has snowballed into a $13 million fitness empire with a private gym, Disneyland, a global clothing brand, and an energy drink on store shelves. That's exactly what Christian Guzman did. He turned casual gym vlogs into Alphalete, Alphaland, and 3D Energy, brands that now generate well over 9 figures in revenue and have effectively made him the architect of his own fitness universe. This is not a story about getting lucky on YouTube. It's about a kid who was once just the skinny guitar player in Houston, who used a camera to document his insecurity, then engineered that vulnerability into leverage, and finally into a multi-brand machine that prints cash while he deadlifts. Let's rewind. Picture Houston, early 2000s. Christian is not a sponsored athlete, not a pro bodybuilder, and not some Ivy League business prodigy. He's a teenager who stumbles into a strength and conditioning camp, falls in love with lifting, and realizes the barbell is the first place in life where the rules feel simple. Work goes in, progress comes out. He transforms from skinny kid with a guitar to the guy whose friends start asking, "What program are you on?" and "What do you eat?" Now, here's where it separates from every other gym rat origin story. Instead of just answering those questions in the locker room, he points a camera at himself. In 2012, when fitness YouTube is still the Wild West, Christian launches a channel dedicated to documenting his training, dieting, and daily life, with absolutely no guarantee anyone will care. He films in dorm bathrooms at 2 a.m., sneaks tripod shots in crowded gyms, and uploads anyway, making the quality of the story more important than the quality of the lens. That early decision to share the process in real time, not just the after picture, becomes his unfair advantage. Within a few years, he crosses hundreds of thousands of subscribers and gets featured on major fitness platforms. Not because he's the biggest guy on YouTube, but because his content feels like a real-time journal of a kid figuring it out. Viewers don't just copy his workouts, they adopt his mindset. Track, improve, document, repeat. But documenting is only the first level. The real money doesn't come from ad revenue. It comes from what he layers on top of the attention. During those early years, Christian starts selling coaching, meal plans, and basic digital products. Small offers that prove one crucial thing. This audience will pay to go deeper. At the same time, he experiments with merch drops, simple branded shirts and hoodies connected to his personal identity rather than some polished corporate logo. Here's a key turning point most people overlook. He doesn't jump straight into a full-scale apparel company. He uses merch as a test lab. Each drop teaches him what colors move, what phrases resonate, and, most importantly, that when he tells a story around a launch, his audience responds with their wallets. That pattern sets up the biggest pivot of his life. By 2014 to 2015, Christian is juggling college, YouTube uploads, online coaching, and early versions of his clothing line. He does something that terrifies most people. He tracks every dollar of his side income and compares it to his future earning potential as a college grad. And the numbers simply don't lie. When his coaching and online efforts start to eclipse what an entry-level job would pay, he drops out of Texas Christian University to go all in on himself. Most people freeze at this point. Christian doubles down. He rebrands from casual merch into a legit business, Alphalete Athletics. Instead of just slapping a logo on blanks, he spends more than a year obsessing over cuts, fabrics, and manufacturing, quietly building something that isn't just YouTuber merch, but can stand on the same shelf as established performance brands. Then comes the moment that proves he's not just a content creator, he's an operator. After about 18 months of work on Alphalete, he launches a major drop. The result, roughly 6 figures in sales in about 10 minutes. That single launch completely rewires his brain. Suddenly, YouTube is no longer the business. It's the engine. The channel becomes the top of the funnel that feeds a brand with almost unlimited upside. Think about that leverage for a second. A single video can reach hundreds of thousands of people. If even a small percentage of them buy once, and an even smaller percentage turn into repeat buyers, you're not a YouTuber anymore. You're a founder with built-in distribution and free marketing. Christian sees that, and he pushes the gas. Alphalete drops become events. Behind-the-scenes vlogs, try-on hauls, and storytelling about each collection turn product launches into narrative arcs. But Christian doesn't stop at close. He understands something most creators never do. Once you earn trust in one category, you can extend that trust into adjacent problems your audience already has. For a fitness audience, those problems are obvious: supplements, energy, environment. So he expands horizontally. First comes supplement partnerships and eventually co-founding roles and collaborations in the supplement space, where his influence helps shape formulas and marketing that feel directly tuned to his community. Then he takes another leap into beverages with 3D energy drinks, a sleek, gym-friendly energy drink that slots perfectly into the daily routines of the same people who wear Alphalete. Notice the pattern: training content, training apparel, training energy. Each move stacks on the last. Each business doesn't need a new audience. It piggybacks on the relationship he's been building on YouTube since he was a teenager. And then, Alphaland. This is where his story goes from smart creator to borderline insane entrepreneur. Instead of just sponsoring gyms or renting space, Christian decides to build what he calls a fitness Disneyland, a sprawling multi-acre gym complex in Texas, combining multiple gyms, photo studios, a retail store, outdoor fields, and content-friendly spaces built for creators. The price tag is enormous. During construction, there are months where the project is reportedly burning through hundreds of thousands of dollars, with no revenue coming in, a cash drain that would terrify even veteran CEOs. Side by side, the numbers start to tell a story. Industry observers estimate his personal net worth in the 8-figure range, with his empire often modeled around that $13 million mark when you blend his equity, brand value, and cash flow. Meanwhile, Alphalete's total gross revenue since inception is believed to sit in the hundreds of millions, with recent years alone clearing the 9-figure mark annually. For someone who once just wanted enough clients to cover his dorm rent, those numbers are surreal. Yet despite the headline figures, Christian is startlingly open about the less glamorous side of growth. He's talked about how Alphalete has hit massive revenue milestones, while sometimes running on what he considers unhealthy profit margins, as he reinvests heavily into infrastructure, staff, and inventory. That's a classic founder's dilemma. Do you optimize for short-term profit or long-term dominance? Over and over, Christian chooses scale and experience over immediate cash extraction. And there's another storyline running underneath the business success: the personal cost. In long-form interviews, Christian has opened up about mental health struggles, burnout, and even dealing with addiction and stimulant dependence while trying to keep up with the constant pressure of being both the face and the engine of multiple companies. There were periods where the grind that made him successful started to turn against him, and he had to rebuild his relationship with work, training, and content from the ground up. That battle becomes part of his brand too. In a world where many fitness influencers present a flawless facade, Christian leans into transparency, sharing bad launches, construction delays, breakups, financial stress, and personal struggles alongside PR-worthy wins. That honesty doesn't weaken his authority, it deepens it. Fans don't just see him as a CEO or an athlete, they see him as the guy who shows them the spreadsheet and the scars. So how does a simple gym vlog transform into a $13 million empire? The blueprint, when you zoom out, is brutally logical. First, he falls in love with a problem, helping people transform their bodies and confidence, not with a single platform. The YouTube channel is just his first distribution tool. Second, he documents obsessively and consistently, turning every rep, every bulk and cut into content that makes the audience feel like they're building something with him, not just watching him show off. That emotional equity becomes more valuable than any single product. Third, he leverages that attention into aligned offers, coaching, ebooks, basic merch, to test whether his influence converts into transactions. Once the answer is yes, he upgrades the back end. Real apparel in Alphalete, then physical space in Alphaland, then consumables in 3D energy and supplement ventures. Fourth, he keeps the story human. He doesn't erase the failed launches, the financial risk, the mental health dips, or the missteps. He integrates them into the narrative. That makes the wins feel earned instead of gifted, which only deepens loyalty and lifetime customer value. And finally, he reinvests, sometimes to an almost uncomfortable degree. Rather than treat his companies as ATMs for a flashy lifestyle, he pours huge chunks of revenue into better facilities, bigger teams, more ambitious projects, moves that compress short-term comfort but expand long-term impact. That's how you go from YouTube checks to a portfolio worth 8 figures personally and hundreds of millions in enterprise value across his brands. Today, Christian Guzman is more than a fitness YouTuber. He's the founder and CEO of a vertically integrated fitness ecosystem. Alphalete apparel, Alphaland as the physical hub, 3D energy in the cooler, plus partnerships and stakes in other brands that amplify his reach. His channels still pull in millions of views, but the real magic is what those views now represent. A constantly refreshed stream of trust and attention that fuels every arm of his empire. The most striking part? None of it started with a pitch deck, investor backing, or a corporate strategy team. It started with a skinny kid in Houston, a borrowed camera, and a decision. I'm going to film this journey, no matter who's watching. The $13 million that followed isn't an accident. It's the compounded return on a decade of showing up, learning in public, and relentlessly turning every new chapter of his life into a new branch of his business. So when you look at Christian Guzman's $13 million empire, don't just see numbers. See a decade-long feedback loop. Create, share, listen, build, refine, repeat. See a kid who turned his camera into a bridge, his audience into a community, and his community into a set of brands that feel less like businesses and more like home for the people who follow him. And then ask yourself a simple, dangerous question. If you started documenting your own journey today with that same level of honesty and intent, where could you be 10 years from now?